We can cut off our elevator music now. Hello, everyone. First, I want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world. I am excited to be here tonight. Let me make sure my phone is on silent. You can hear the messages still coming through. But my name is Brenda Chunga, AKA Bitcoin Beauty, and it's been a while. And so I'm just happy that we're able to put this call together. Also, I want to thank a lot of the leaders who have been on these calls with Sam Lee. I've been watching and listening and hearing, and it's been amazing just to know that Sam Lee is available to the community and just sharing and answering questions. And so therefore, I wanted us to put something together for the bigger community. We knew the call would max out, and before the time, we did know that. And so I want to say, thank you all for jumping on early. It is also being recorded, so we'll be able to make sure you all catch the recording. I heard someone complaining about the overflow. Just look at the glass half full, at least there is a call and there's a recording that we can look at the call a little later, right? So just look at it that way. So I just want to say thank you all for being on, and I'm not going to take too much of your time. I also want to just welcome each and every one of you. I saw in the chats, I'm looking at the messages in the chat, someone said they miss everyone. It feels like a family reunion. So again, it started off as a family. And we were also excited about the opportunity. We truly enjoyed building Hyper. And so now where we are today, we're sitting here just like, what do we do? Where do we go? And that's why I'm so excited that Sam Lee has taken time out of his schedule to be here. I didn't realize it was 4 a.m. in Dubai when I said 7 o'clock. I am so sorry, because at 9, if we had kept it for 9, it'd been a better time for Mr. Sam Lee. So I just want to thank you for being here at 4 a.m. So we're going to go ahead and get the Zoom started, and have we have a few leaders who we're going to spotlight. So Sheila, feel free to spotlight all the leaders that we kind of hand selected to reach out in the community and gather some questions. I also created a landing page where a lot of you all were able to submit your questions that you have for Mr. Sam Lee. So I did do that. So please make sure, I want you to know I did get the questions. And keep in mind, I think we had over 600 questions. Maybe 400 were duplicates. 400 was just about the 1X, the 1X, the 1X, the 1X. So just know I did go through each and every one of them. I didn't go by myself. I had my assistant. We worked together, went through it all, categorized it. You'll be happy to know we narrowed it down to 100 questions. That's a lot of questions. But we got 600 came in. And we're going to try our best to go through the ones that we deem that could be very helpful and beneficial to the community as far as answering those questions. So I'm going to go over those questions. But right now, we do have a few of the leaders who have built huge organizations, huge teams. And I just had them go out and reach into their community and just get some burning questions that some of the members may have. So feel free for you all that are here to take notes and just listen in. This is what all of us have been looking for. We've been looking for answers. Again, what I'm hearing back from the community, and I want you all to know I see what's going on, I hear what's going on, but also remember that we're human. And as being human, you can get burned out. You can stress yourself to sickness. All kinds of things can happen. So sometimes people take a break because they need to figure out how to move and how to maneuver. So I see all the questions. So that's why I wanted to give each and every one of you a chance to submit at least one question. If you had to ask Mr. Sam Lee a question, what would that question be, right? And that's why I did put that together, because I hear in the community, certain people are not getting their questions answered, or they did not understand the answer. And that's why we're doing this call tonight. All righty, so I'm going to start off with, let's see, it doesn't matter, it's not in a certain order. Sheila doesn't really have her voice, so Sheila will come to you kind of to the end because you don't have your voice. So we'll start with, let's see, who do we have here? So let's start with Greg Scott. So Greg Scott, we have Mr. Sam Lee on all the way from Dubai, and he is here for us. So what questions do you have for Mr. Sam Lee? Oh, you're still on mute, Craig. Sure
I thought you were going to give me the questions, Brenda.
Oh, I thought you had your one question. Okay.
Oh, well, I can. Yeah, I don't know if I remember the whole thing, but basically the question, Sam, was, and by the way, thank you, Sam, for coming. In lieu of the problems with the WHO exchange. I'm not sure if you know, Sam, but a couple days ago, they put out a bulletin that can't remember the guy's name. I think it's Kevin, but I don't know his Chinese name. Brenda, you might have that. But he, I guess they said he absconded with all the money. I don't know if you're aware of that, Sam, or not, but so in lieu of what happened there and problems with withdrawals from Hyperverse and some of the information that wasn't correct about Hypertech owning the WHO exchange. I guess, I don't know if you know the answer to this, but how much faith can we have with the same people that ran Hyperverse if they're running Hibernation right now? You know, I think there's a credibility issue there. I don't know if you can address that or not.
Thanks, Greg. Thank you for this question. And I'm not here to comment and help spread rumors, because I can only be transparent and give information based on what I know. And this is the reason why things are here today is because the people who consist of corporate are people who have come through for me in various market conditions in the past. So it is, of course, outside of my expectation that after the contribution from the community, as well as contribution from the returns that our funds have generated for the community, the payouts for Hyperverse subsequently stopped. I'm not aware of any of these announcements on Hypernation and how they operate and how they plan on delivering an outcome to membership. And it's not that I'm not willing to help. It's just I don't have the transparency necessary to help. Me being here today is to focus in on just giving the community some visibility on what I have been responsible for, so that the community can hold me accountable for those pieces. And of course, beyond that, to help the community be able to gain visibility on what promises corporates have made in the past, and of course, to do the discovery necessary so that I'm in a better position to help. So the two aspects that I am responsible for is generating returns on, I believe, what was at the time funds from members. This was during Hyperfund. We've generated outstanding returns, and it never crossed my mind that there will be any issues with payouts. And the other aspect we were responsible for as Hypertech Group was the technology piece. The ability to deliver on that doesn't mean that it is deployed on our servers, and that's why to this date I don't understand how big the problem is, because I don't have access to the database. So my objective is to at least have this conversation directly with the community so that the community can continuously ask me questions and make up their mind whether they would like me involved in supporting the community on any attempts at mediating the situation between corporate and the community.
I see Greg said, thank you. Okay, and I mean, we do, and we went straight to the WHO exchange, so we have a lot of other questions that I have here, but I wanted the leaders to kind of get their questions in, and then I'll go through these questions that we have lined up. So for now, I know you had a question.
Yes, yes, Brenda, thank you. Before I start, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Finau, and this is my husband, Stefano Sete. We come from the small island called Tonga, and we build, when we start Hyperfund, we build a Tongan community. And I know the problems with the withdrawal, there's a lot of people question, but I be able to get together everyone and give them hope. I know that they have a lot of money invest, put it in buying their membership. But one thing I get everyone to understand, the market is down right now. And my question to you, Sam Lee, I appreciated that you take the time to come in to face everyone. My question to you, what we can do to help to move forward as a community?
So what I can do is offer the transparency on my side, to give people an understanding of how we've been able to successfully deliver on material contracts and outcomes and make money in the past without a community. The intention of building the community was because we believed that there is a lot more value in a community if we combine the affiliate marketing side with a tokenomic that is powered by blockchain. So the intentions that I had for this community was to bring these few key pieces together, and we have seen it succeed to a certain point. And unfortunately, the success couldn't continue because the transparency didn't continue. So I think what should give everyone hope is I'm here to deal with this now, and I'm not going away until this is dealt with. I'm not going away until everybody is made whole, because like it or not, unfortunately, me giving excuses here or there doesn't help the situation. Someone needs to take responsibility, and I understand there are many people in leadership position that are being asked very hard questions that they don't have the answers to. Now, I don't have the answers to these same questions, but at least being in this industry for a little bit longer, I know the value of what a community can bring. And if we're able to share the outcome of the value created by a community with the community, I believe that can create value without even asking for another penny from this community, as we bring this ecosystem together in the right way with the right level of visibility for us to rebuild trust. That now won't happen overnight, I get it. And that's why I've been doing Zooms privately, one-on-one with leaders, as well as, of course, in this kind of group format, and answering these questions. And my answers to these questions at its core hasn't changed, but the ideas that I have have evolved. And so what I'm saying is just, keep the questions coming, because the more visibility I have, the more better the solution can become. For me to be where I am today, it means that I do have a few tricks up my sleeve, and I want to lay out the tools in front of the community to see how this can benefit the situation as it stands now. To progress this conversation, however, we just need to make sure that corporate understands that the intention needs to be delivered on eventually, and for whatever they plan to do in the future, especially in this industry, they need to do it with the community. The value of the community is greater than the value that they currently have promised to return. So in the right conditions, they need to make good on the promise that they had previously made. And my job, because I still have hope and I still believe that they will do the right thing, my job is to make that happen sooner rather than later.
Thank you, Sam Lee, for answer our question. I appreciate it. But I think my husband's here, Stefano, have one more question.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. I don't want to take up too much time, especially Mr. Lee. My question is nice and simple. As a not educated person versus an educated person, because we're going after the Tongan community, the lack of access to technology, we're borderline poor countries. Do you have any time frame at all? Whereas I will be able to tell my 10-year-old child, go ahead and pull out money from Hyper and go. Because of the access to technology, I know the one without the skills and the knowledge, it's a really downfall for this, because it's really taken, I myself, horrible. Luckily, my wife is good, so, but there is a downfall for us trying to recruit our community. Is an access to where the educated and the non-educated are able to access the same opportunity within regards to the technology. As far as Hyperverse, I understand what's going on. I myself, we're very pleased and happy that we managed to benefit from it, and we still stand by it. And we'll do whatever it takes to support our community. Again, the time frame where everybody can access to it within world safety. Thank you.
So the time frame is something that I cannot give, because it is not within my control. Again, a corporate has funds that have been returned from my funds management division, as well as the funds that it has received from the community. The delay tactics currently implemented is just because the community has not got the leverage it needs to have these conversations. So what I want to do is make sure that I can gain the trust of the community in order for me to have visibility on the problem. And the way I gain visibility on the problem is we will need to have everyone give me the information necessary of what 1X is, because this is what was promised. If it wasn't promised by corporate, guess what? I don't think anyone will continue to trust and move things forward with corporate. So given that I have been patient, everyone here has been patient, and you guys still have faith to at least give me the information I need to go and ask the right questions, I believe that next step needs to be taken in a clear and consistent manner with the support of leadership. Because if the messaging isn't managed, then people will feel like I'm here to I do more harm than good, which is far from the truth. I'm not here to ask the community to contribute another penny. My job here is to get an understanding of the problem so that I can be part of the solution.
You.
Thank you. Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you all. Thank you both so much. Thank you. And Mr. Family, before we go to the next person, I wanted to piggyback off of what you said to get clarification. When you mentioned that you need more transparency and clarity from corporate to even know what the 1X means, do you mean if corporate would allow you access to see what the 1X is, because the community kind of wants to understand this, even myself. Do you mean to be able to see those individuals, like the records to show what they brought in and did not take out, so you'll know what the 1X is? Is that what you mean when you say that?
Yeah, of course. And that is something which corporate has not given the community or myself visibility. And that is why after enough time has passed, it only makes sense now for me to have this conversation directly with the community, knowing that this should make the 1X the priority that corporate should focus on. Because without this, how can we really, fix the issues that the community is currently facing? It is, again, not leadership's responsibility to take care of members who unfortunately did not make money in this opportunity, right? It is the company to drive the outcome that everybody in this community expects based on the promises that they've delivered, that they've made. So I'm here to be accountable myself so that I can be in a strong position to hold, of course, a corporate accountable. And I need to do this with the support of leadership, with the support of the community, to first understand how big the problem is. So I'm not asking corporate for visibility on 1X because I've already been doing that for the last 9 months. I'm asking the community to provide that information to me.
All right. And so when you're asking the community to provide it to you, for those members that are just being on here or even hearing from you for the first time, how do they provide it to you? What is it that you need from the community to provide it to you, and how do they? What are the steps that they take to do so?
Well, I think the steps that they will need to take is very simple. It'll be explained in a 1-page PDF that I haven't got around to preparing in time for this community right here. But the objective is to maintain the existing leadership structure so that at least we can all come in informed and neutral on the solution that I'm providing, which is for everybody to sign up for free and provide the details on the deposits and the withdrawals, as well as the relevant screenshot and hashes involved in the transaction.
Okay, so great. You're saying that you'll have a place for people to, when you create this one pager PDF, you'll have a place for people to be able to put their username, the email, everything they enrolled in Hyper, and show proof of what they sent out and have screenshots of their Hyperverse, like back office, to show on this date, they sent this amount in. And then also maybe, I don't know if they still have access to their withdrawals to show what they actually were able to withdraw or not withdraw. So, okay, so just so the community understands, we will be getting a one pager in the near future to just show what to do in that case. And again, there's so many questions that I have that can, that could be layered, and I'll get to it in a second, but I just wanted that clarification before we move forward, as far as the transparency from corporate, and seeing what the 1X is. Okay, so Bill, I know you had a question or two.
Yeah, actually, Brenda, you right along the lines with what you were talking about. So I don't know if I'm a little bit confused. And Sam, thank you for being here with us. It's nice to see you. I've had a chance to watch most of the recorded Zooms that are out there of your interactions, and I appreciate that you're here and that you're taking the hard questions. And I think you've just, with what you've just said, is that our priority should be on the 1X and pressuring corporate. And one of what I've taken out of the other Zooms, and so maybe, and what Brenda was just doing was actually helping clarify that for me in my head, and in a lot of people in my community, is that it seems like there's this other platform that is the database. And how is that going to be, is that something different that we're talking about? Or is that what you're going to use as the database, that other platform that's out there that we enter our information on? And if so, how do you separate the Hyperverse community from other people entering in that platform? And so I hope I'm not asking too many questions, but I think they're all related. How then does that help you, and what are your plans to leverage the community to pressure corporate for the 1X? Because that's the priority for everybody here, is to leverage the corporate for the 1X. And then it sounded like aside from that, there's opportunities in the future aside from that. And I'm really not super concerned about that. I think that those would be great, but really wanting to help our community, feel like, okay, Sam is adding value and he is here and he is serious. But I guess what I'm asking is, do you have a plan? And what are you going to do to leverage the community?
Yeah, so I wouldn't be here on all these Zooms with the community every single day if I didn't have a plan. The plan, of course, as I do more of these Zooms, communicate more with leadership, has significantly crystallized. And that is why, if you look at some of the earlier Zooms I've done at the first week of January compared to now, I'm in a much more confident space, because I know exactly how to deliver on this plan, as opposed to having a plan and not knowing how to deliver on it. So the platform that was described, in previous Zooms, is StableDAO. It's been running since September last year, and it was because it doesn't seem like corporate is moving quickly enough based on their original timeline. So I just needed a signal to corporate that I can build a database of a large group of users with minimal promotion to make them understand that if they don't behave in the correct way, then there will be, how should I put it? Not consequences, but there will be outcomes that won't involve them moving forward. So my objective is not to build out something new, you know, because it doesn't make sense for me to just create a platform for the purposes of 1x recovery. People are able to give me this information on the platform that I've already highlighted, Stable DAO, so that information can be given freely to me. I don't need any money from anyone because, you know, at the end of the day, if you look at all the Web2 startups that came into dominance of where the of our everyday lives today, they didn't ask for money from people who signed up. So, you know, Facebook didn't ask people to put money in before they had the ability to bring their friends in, etc. The information that everybody's contributing to these Web2 platforms is value. So considering that Web2 startups have a significantly harder time to grow and build value because they can't be asking memberships to fund their growth, it makes sense that I can be just as disciplined in growing a new platform without asking for any money. And of course, there will be opportunities that subsequently will be advertised and introduced to this database. But again, that is not my concern. That was always going to happen because I'm no longer able to get visibility with corporate to help them out. And I needed to signal to corporate and to also the community that I've always been able to make money without a community. And if I do it right, then I'm able to make even more money with a community. And of course, in this case, when that happens, I don't need any of that money because ultimately it's about creating a legacy now. This can't be the last thing that ends up happening to me in this industry. I've only been in this industry for a little more than a decade, and there are many decades to come. So the first step is to have visibility so that I understand how big the problem is, so that I can find an even bigger solution. I have met Brenda in person. I've shown her some of the access I have on my phone to the largest corporations in the world. And through these contacts, we'll be able to bring this database and tap into their marketing budgets so that at least at the bare minimum, people who provide their details into my database to not only give me visibility of what 1x is, will have access to opportunities that require them not to even put in a penny, because we're talking about the multi-billion-dollar marketing budget that they need to spend every year anyways, just to retain their customer base. So we'll be tapping into that and then gifting that to the Hyper community first, because what we have is something that is very special, that is built by the leaders here, which is a crypto native Web3 community. I just don't see anything like this anywhere in this world. And to have this community behind the next big movement in this industry will allow us to benefit significantly for the community, because that's what it is, right? This can't be where the story ends. This can't be where my legacy ends, right? I do have the energy and the passion for this industry to continue. And considering that this community was created out of my original intention of bringing affiliate marketing and the digital asset ecosystem together, then that still needs to be delivered on, right? I want to be in a position where we look 12 months back and then see this as just a bump in the road. Corporate, I still have faith, will deliver on their promise. They just are taking their time because the community lacks leverage. I'm here to act as leverage on behalf of the community to make sure that their promise is delivered sooner rather than later.
Thanks, Sam. Can I just extend on that a little bit? I really appreciate that answer. You must be, I can't imagine how upset you must be, because what corporate has done is reflected on you. Because as you just said, this was your original, your original vision of combining the digital assets with affiliate marketing, and they built, we've all built an amazing community here, and it seems like corporate is throwing it away based on, I don't understand the reasoning behind what they're doing and why they wouldn't make the payouts, if they're capable of doing that. And so I guess you said you can't give it a corporate timeline, but can you give us a timeline of your, in the coming days of what, solidifying your plan of how you're going to leverage the community to really start putting some appropriate pressure on these people that you've said you still trust that they can come through. You've got a lot more patience than I would if someone did this, didn't maintain visibility of this transparency that I would need as a CEO. But I appreciate what you're saying, and I want to be able to say, okay, well, you've got to have a timeline, at least somewhat, of when you're going to now start putting into action this plan of appropriate pressure to corporate. I don't know if you can comment on that at all.
Yeah, so I needed to come to terms with understanding this industry because corporate does have significantly more knowledge, having managed the growth of this community for the last 2 years. Well, actually 3 years. So my point is, there were people who approached me at the point when Hyperverse stopped withdrawals, right? Now I have once a month board meetings with corporate, and I'm only there because I want them to change their mind one day and say, hey, you know what, just like they're throwing away the community, they're throwing away the networks and the capability of Sam being able to help us out, right? And the only thing that I'm asking for is complete transparency from them so that we could all put together a plan together. So that hasn't happened. But what has happened was a community did reach out to me first before corporate even told me about the withdrawal issues, right? And I have met a couple of leaders that were part of this community, and unfortunately, I think I have disappointed those leaders when I met them, because they were saying how much they've done, these other people they were working with, and this is how they got thrown to the side, right? And they were saying to me, look, Sam, if you can give us assurance that you're not going to be doing this to us, we'll be with you all the way. And of course, we could do even bigger and better things based on your vision, not corporate's vision, right? So there was a limited period of time after withdrawal stopped for me to come to the community and say, okay, guys, this is something else I'm doing. And then guess what? I'm not saying that the community will all be with me, but at least a portion of the community will. But that's not something I was willing to do. I said to the leaders who, through various channels that have reached out to me and have met me in person, that I still have faith corporate will deliver. And, just like you guys, I have to be patient and give them the time they need. So during that period of time, between then and now, which has been roughly 9 months, I've been able to learn a lot and actually have a pathway forward to drive a real revenue generating profitable business that can eventually create value, that can make people whole outside of what corporate has promised. So I'm sorry that this took so long, but I know I only have one chance to bring the community on a journey, especially after what has happened, right? And it doesn't make sense for me to break trust with the community just because the community is pressuring me to create a new plan and push some buttons and make something happen, right? I need to be in a very strong position, understanding that I am able to do something that is completely legal, that will be around for decades to come, and create significant value big enough to solve whatever problems that the community is currently facing. And there is nothing wrong with creating a database and sharing that database in an affiliate marketing structure with third parties, right? That is what I want to deliver on, and that will allow people to passively be made whole, because guess what? It is amazing what you guys have created, a community of millions. But you know what's even more amazing? That we can, with complete oversight under regulators, grow this to a community of billions. And having this community be the tip of the spear of a community of billions will make everyone passively whole. This is not going to be an easy journey, but I'm here now. So I'm here to begin that journey. And hopefully people will be at least willing to just position themselves in the exact same or roughly the same hierarchy that and lineage that we currently have, so that we are able to focus less on jousting for positions and reshuffling the same community that exists, and focus on bringing the rest of the ecosystem in. Because it's so simple. If we are the influencers for Fortune 500 companies to change the habits of their existing consumers, and they have already got tens, if not hundreds of millions of people that consume their product, then what we are doing is influencing their consumers to be part of our ecosystem eventually anyways. So this vortex, I believe, will create significant value, not only for the corporations we partner up with, but for this community here. So that's how we solve a big problem. And of course, because we're all here today, it is a big problem. And the solution is an even bigger solution. Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. And I really appreciate your candor on that. And so kind of what I'm hearing, I'm just going to restate it. Just what I'm hearing is that regardless of what corporate decides to do, you're moving forward. As apart from that, you're giving them time to do what they need to do. So hopefully they come through with their 1X and we can put the pressure on. But also, this is a much bigger picture that you're trying to develop. Is that right?
Yes, because I've already seen what you guys have been able to create with just my photo on a pitch deck. So I really do want to open up my Rolodex of contacts that I have developed over the last decade, you know, and transparently create business opportunities that can really benefit this entire community. And of course, there will be opportunities that will require some activation, some activities by the people in order to benefit. But you know what? The people who are not willing to take an active role in participation can still benefit in a passive way because of just the lineage that is structured. And as long as there are active people that are driving this ecosystem forward, then the people who sit on top in terms of lineage can still be passively made whole. I think a simple example, just to use Facebook, is if you were one of the earliest users of Facebook, you invited a couple hundred people, and those couple hundred people subsequently generated enormous value for the platform. Even if you deleted your Facebook account, there's still a withdrawal button there for you to claim, you know, whatever value that you generated during that short window of time at the very beginning of the platform's creation.
Thanks, Sam. Thank you for your answer there. Appreciate the time. Thanks, Brenda. Thanks, Sheila.
Awesome. Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much for your question. And you know, you do what I do, Bill. I like to clarify. If somebody gives an answer, I like to go back over the answer and say, let me understand this. So thank you for doing that too. That was good. All right, thank you so much. Okay, Sheila, you have a question, and then I told you I got 90 questions to go. But Sam, you've answered so many of them in your responses, so that helps. That's very helpful. All right, so Sheila, take it away.
I don't know if my voice is back.
Your voice is still
so
gone.
Sam, I'm going to push through because I really want to say to Sam is that what I hear, what I just heard was your heart. And I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for coming up. When you came up, we wanted you to come up before, but you took the time to learn what you had to learn before coming up and saying, here's what I can do for the community. And we really appreciate that. Your integrity is just shining through to us right now. I kind of want to dial back a little bit because, believe it or not, we have a huge community of passive people. Some of them have not even seen your previous videos, and this will be the first video that they actually watch. And for me, it's all about mindset. It's all about, we introduce you to an industry that was new to all of us. And for a lot of them, it's still brand new. They came in as virgins and they got burnt. And so they're bitter. And what I would like for them to hear from you, because of your experience and knowledge in the blockchain, the crypto blockchain space, is what their mindset should be to flourish in this space. Because like you said, this is not the end. We're not ending with Hyper. There's so much more out there in this industry for us to benefit from. But people need to understand that this industry is not going away. But what is the mindset that they should have? We've told them, but let them hear from someone who's been in this industry for decades, way more than us, what their mindset should be to flourish in this space. In your opinion?
In my opinion, it's patience, because only when you're patient, you're able to hear the right advice, learn what you need to learn in order for the right outcome to come forward. A lot of people came into Hyper because they were impatient and they just wanted the outcome. And you know, the incentive of crypto is that it is a new form of value, and because it's a new form of value that anyone can create and exchange over the internet, a lot of people just, you know, were I guess wanting to receive an outcome without first understanding how that outcome is really generated. So considering that this industry is a fast-moving industry, it is so close to money, and there are so many bad actors out there, we just have to understand that patience is what's required, because I've been patient with a lot of the people around me, especially in a bear market, and it always pays off because it gives them the strength and courage to come back in a bull market and deliver. But at the same time, you know, I'm not just sitting idly and just hoping that they will do the right thing. In a bear market, when we continue to build infrastructure in this place, in this space, we are putting ourselves in the right position to assist these opportunities as the market conditions change. And because we're in a strong position to assist these opportunities, to assist these companies, it means that they have the ability to move from a rolling start as opposed to a standing stop. So, you know, it doesn't do my brand justice to be the only one standing when the bear market hits and a lot of people just decide to call it quits. But people do need someone to blame. I'm ready to take that blame because I know that through patience, when the market condition improves, at least the community, at least corporate, are still there to hopefully deliver on everything based on their original intentions. So I understand this is the first time a lot of people have heard me speak. And you know what? Don't even bother going back to all the other videos and going through the content, because I think that was all practice. Excuse me. That was all practice to get me into this mindset today, so that I can be, you know, very, very knowledgeable based on all the people from the community that have conversed with me, advised me, coached me to where I am today. So things I believe can be solved. I will continue to be here until it's solved. So I'm asking for everyone's patience, because that's what has helped us succeed in this industry. Because as an infrastructure player, from Bitcoin mining initially, to then doing arbitrage, to running exchanges, wallets, and various other services, the infrastructure layer really requires us to be patient. We could have just done a couple of ICOs and pulled a lot of money, not delivered on any product, and then disappeared. And people have used our infrastructure to do all that. But ultimately, what gives us relevance for over the last decade is that we've been patient enough to continue to build infrastructure. It doesn't matter in what market conditions, we continue to build infrastructure. And because of that, we're able to weather the storm, because as operators of infrastructure, we make money in a bull market and a bear market. And that gives us strength, especially in these conditions today.
Well said. Thank you.
And so for me to piggyback off of that, as a question for you, Mr. Samley, do you believe, and this is to help the people who are new to crypto, do you believe crypto is here to stay?
Crypto is definitely here to stay, because it is just a new form of value that is registered and shared on an immutable ledger called blockchain. So what that means is, right now, we are looking at countries with even connectivity issues. The gentleman from Tonga was saying that a lot of the people there in the Pacific Islands don't even have proper access to the internet. Now, the ability to connect and disseminate information on the internet is a huge step forward to allowing the people to have the same access to information. But when you just have access to information, it only helps to a certain degree. What blockchain enables and what cryptocurrency enables, and that is why crypto is here to stay forever, is it enables the creation and exchange of new forms of value. And when people can combine information and execute on that information by creating value on the blockchain, then that closes the loop. That creates an outcome that is suited to Web3. So whereas Facebook, as an example, can only make money from its user base and structure a business model where the users are contributing that data, contributing their content, and not getting anything for it. In a Web3 model, the people who are subscribed to such platforms not only can benefit, but also benefit from the people they bring in and the people their friends subsequently bring in as well. These calculations are near impossible in a Web2 environment, but on the blockchain and through cryptocurrencies, wealth will be built faster than ever before in a more decentralized way than ever before. So no longer are wealth concentrated in a few key financial hubs throughout the world. It will be distributed to the far-reaching regions who are able to have access to connectivity. And that is why the ability to create an exchange value for cryptocurrency because of the existence of blockchain will be here to stay forever.
Thank you for that. And I asked that question because people that are new to cryptocurrency, they're very fearful of what they've seen happen with FTX, seen happen with other platforms that just come and they're scams. They take your money, they disappear. And so it's gotten people very, very fearful, afraid. They don't want anything to do with the crypto space anymore. And with the market being down, also by you believing crypto is here to stay, that also, my question is, do you believe this market will turn around? And if so, what are we looking at? Are we looking at a year from now, 6 months? But do you see the market turning around? And if so, how soon do you, based on your experience, do you predict this happening?
Well, each cycle in the market brings about new challenges. The latest cycle was brought about because there's some licensed institutional players, unfortunately, did not have the controls necessary to prevent the scenario where user funds are used to prop up the business. So, the example of FTX and Celsius going bankrupt has hurt a lot of institutions that came into this space thinking that their money is safe with licensed operators. So institutions losing money means that they will be staying away from this space or being very cautious of this space for quite a number of years. But the crypto market is not built for the institutions. It is actually, I believe, in the next wave of the market coming back will be driven by developing countries finally having the sophistication to issue their own tokens and forms of values that will benefit their immediate community. Because, it doesn't make sense that if you look at the top 100 tokens, that they're US-centric or Singapore-centric or Swiss-centric, right? It doesn't make sense. What about the rest of the world? These financial hubs already have access to the stock market. They already have access to traditional financial instruments and the legal frameworks in order to govern these financial instruments. So they're not the biggest benefactors of crypto adoption. They just are, they've already made money. They just want more, right? Let's dilute shareholders and raise some capital from the listed company. Why not also make money by selling a bunch of tokens or NFTs, right? So they just want more. I feel strongly the next wave of opportunity must come from developing countries that can really benefit from tokenomics, because they don't have a functional stock exchange. They don't have the legal and regulatory compliance structures necessary for them to access traditional capital. And they just don't have the compliance culture to manage the traditional capital that comes in. So, I truly believe that just like the internet has allowed peer-to-peer information to travel the world and have everybody accessing the same or roughly the same level of knowledge, blockchain enables peer-to-peer transactional value. And what that means is we can forget the piping of value through traditional financial hubs where there is a tolling and transaction fee. Things can be done 1,000 times cheaper through the blockchain, and that benefits directly the people in the developing nations who have not got access to the traditional financial markets the same way as developed nations do.
Thank you for that. And I think you had frozen for a quick second there. So I would go right into the questions, and I was asking some of the questions. So Samuel Cole had asked about, in light of Bitcoin downturn and FTX bankruptcy, with many others at the verge of bankruptcy, how is Hyperfund holding up?
So we invest in infrastructure, and we're not subject to the same level of volatility. Yes, there is less transactions. Yes, there is less interest in people wanting to come into this space, but ultimately blockchain is one of the key pillars of the fourth industrial revolution. It is a technology that will be adopted in traditional data structures eventually, because it is simply a more secure and transparent and more auditable platform. So given all the benefits, blockchain is the future. Cryptocurrency is one of the key use cases that justifies blockchain's future, and there will be an uptick in the market eventually. And I believe that uptick will be led by the largest corporations in the world exploring this space in the near future. And I believe this community can help me accelerate the recovery of the entire market, because the major concern these large corporations have with doing a token or creating a tokenomic is they have to go out of their way to train a new division almost within their company that is crypto native, is blockchain savvy, and is able to interface with a community such as what we have here today. Now, they could skip all that and accelerate to having the community generate value for them directly if they simply engage what we create. And that value, because we're accelerating the value creation process for them, it means that we're building trust with skeptical consumers that are already consuming their product. The problem with this space is there's a lot of startups that, of course, in order to fund their business, have done their own tokens. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but just because these startups fail doesn't mean blockchain or crypto is bad, because guess what? 95% of startups usually fail in the first 5 years anyways. So that is not, that is not a bad reflection on cryptocurrency or blockchain at all. In fact, the startups that are able to raise more money are able to go a lot further and have a better chance of success. So counter to that, I would actually say that companies, startups should actually explore tokenomics, because they have nothing to lose. They're just beginning their journey, and they will be able to bring in a little bit extra cash on top of the angel investors that they are engaging to have a better chance of success, right? But that is not the area of my focus. With such a large community facing a large problem, I cannot solve this problem by just picking a startup or picking an accelerator that manages a cohort of startups to solve this problem, right? The solution needs to come from the largest corporations in the world who are ready to explore this new and exciting environment by spending some of their marketing budget on this community here. So as the weeks and months go by, the execution of this plan and how we go about executing this plan will be solidified. And through that process, I believe we're on the right path to, getting people more than their 1x, because people did not come into Hyper just to receive their money back after waiting around patiently for an entire year. So everybody's intention was to come into the space to better their families and help their community. I want to deliver on that. I want to make sure that happens. So that is why it's important for me right now, considering I have a game plan, for me to now begin the process of rebuilding trust and executing on that.
So in a nutshell, during Samuel's question of Hyperfund, how is it holding for bankruptcy? What would you, are you saying
sorry.
you don't see bankruptcy in the
No, we're far from that, because again, we're an infrastructure player. People use our services regardless of whether market conditions are good or bad. And so we have a very strong revenue line, and we had to tighten our belts as well, just like all the other tech companies. So we did let go of some staff, but ultimately that's what's necessary, because we need to always, as an infrastructure company, maintain a certain level of profitability. So we're very strong on the balance sheet and are not exposed to any of the systemic risks that the rest of the market faces. I also want to add that some of the companies that, for example, relied heavily on FTX are now significantly exposed and potentially face bankruptcy themselves because of that exposure. We're not such company, because we've been in the space for a very long period of time, and therefore all the services that FTX has, we already have anyways. So it's always about, as the Hyper ecosystem, for us to use internal services wherever possible. And therefore, we're very much segmented away from all the turbulence the rest of the market face.
Okay, thank you for that. That was Samuel's question. Dorian had a question. He said, how do you see MOF being used in 2023? Will it come back?
I don't have any visibility. That's not a smart contract that we manage. And the utility of MOF, because of my lack of visibility, it means that I cannot be of assistance to increase the utility of MOF and hence increase its value.
Okay. Like I said, a lot of these questions have already been answered. Like Elliot asked, will the community receive at least their 1x without having to recruit or give additional deposit? You did answer that about the database and people getting registered and not having to pay another dime. So thank you for answering that. The other question that I see here is, there's so many, I'm just going through it. If Sam Lee is not a part of Hyper Nation, okay, so the question, I'm going to rephrase it for them. So the question this individual had is that in the infrastructure, when they see it, the setting, they said, Sam Lee, you are the head of Hypertech Group, and then there's Hyperfund, Hyperverse, Hypernation. So they wanted to know, when you say you're not a part of Hypernation, what does that look like? What does that mean? If you're part of Hyperverse but not Hypernation, are these two different people running it, two different corporate people, or the same that running Hyperverse and Hypernation? And can they trust moving forward with Hypernation? You know, do you feel confident about Hypernation since they've taken the community from Hyperverse, trying to move them to Hypernation? They want to know that, like, how do you feel about it, and what role do you really play with Hyperverse and Hypernation and Hyperfund?
Sure. So let's just be clear. There's two hyperfunds, right? One is the actual funds management company, which I am a general partner in. And as a general partner, my responsibility and fiduciary duty is to generate returns for our limited partners that have contributed funds, which I believe the funds that came from corporate in the early days that landed into Hyperfund, you know, on the funds management side, was user funds, and we've since generated more and returned that to corporate as well. So Hyperfund as an affiliate marketing structure was you know, managed by corporate. The Hyperverse, the subsequent Hyperverse was also managed by corporate, and Hypernation is also managed by corporate, right? So the way I see it is the affiliate marketing side of the Hyper branded ecosystem is corporate. I cannot disclose too much more information around, you know, the material contracts, because of course there's NDAs as part of you know, any company and intercompany management of flow of information. So for those who don't know, an NDA stands for a non-disclosure agreement. It's quite standard business practice to make sure that you know, information does not get leaked out to you know, people that aren't supposed to be privy to that information. So you know, to go back to the question, am I involved in Hypernation, Hyperverse, or Hyperfund? I'm involved in Hyperfund on the funds management business. The affiliate marketing side of the business I was never involved in, but I do sit on the board of, in order to have the visibility necessary to assist. But that visibility has degraded to a point where I'm no longer able to assist. But because of the long-standing relationship between me and the people in corporate, I still believe that they have the intention and capability of paying what they promised.
Okay, thank you. Another question that someone had is just that how do you feel about if they were to people leaving from Hyperverse to Hypernation, about running into the same problem or into the same withdrawal issues? Because people are just sitting still and they want to believe in something, but they're not sure if they should. So what are you able to share about if they were to go to Hypernation, since you know the people at corporate, you still believe in them? Do you believe people should enroll in Hypernation, or what do you think? I guess they're just looking to know. They need to know. People are fearful. They don't want to move forward. They're afraid that the same thing that happened to Hyperverse will happen to Hypernation. So what do you think? Or can you share with the community what to do or not do?
I don't have any visibility to even be in a position to advise on that. So unfortunately, you know, it's your money. You could do whatever you want with it, and that decision's on you. My objective is to get the 1x back sooner rather than later. I still believe corporate can deliver on that. And the way I assist in moving that process along is by gaining the transparency directly from the community, as opposed to waiting for corporate to give me that transparency.
Thank you. This is more personal. This message, not my personal, meaning the person who sent this message as a question was really personal to them. This message came on Telegram, and the individual said that, and my question to you, Mr. Sam Lee, is what do you say to this individual who says, my friend is now suing me because I helped her get started, and she's now suing me. I need help. What can I do? What information or advice can we give? And she's not the only one. I got another email from a gentleman who said he put his entire savings, his entire retirement account into Hyperverse. That was another one. And the third one is a gentleman who said he refinanced his house, took money from his home that he bought, took the money out, 100K, and put it into Hyper. So my question to you, because as leaders, I get overwhelmed because these are the emails and things I see, and I'm human. So it breaks my heart. It hurts because I can't do anything about it. I just read these things and I see it, and I try to put myself in their shoes. And again, crypto is new to people, so they just believed in it. And I know people can say, hey, you're taking a risk, when you do this. Yes, but everything you've shared about moving forward and things you plan on doing, what do you say to that person? The woman that says her friend's getting ready to sue her or is taking her to court, and the person who put his entire retirement into Hyperverse, what would you say to that individual?
Okay, so I want to say to those people who are trying to blame their friends for when their friends have the best intentions of helping them, that unfortunately it's a waste of energy, right? It's a waste of negative energy and is not really going to yield the solution. However, if the person who brought you in has made a commitment legally saying that if everything goes wrong, and because I believe in this thing, I will be legally liable for this, right? And it's documented, then of course, the person who brought you in making such promises need to be held accountable, because you know what? Don't make promises you can't fulfill, right? That's one of the key lessons that I've learned very early on in life. And that is why I'm able to be in front of this community today, is because I've honored all my contractual obligations and have delivered to corporate what I promised. And one of those contractual obligations is the non-disclosure agreement, right? I'll continue honoring that contractual obligation in good faith, because I want corporate to do the right thing as well. So to the people who unfortunately have overextended their risk into this space just because they believed, I want to say again, patience is necessary because the industry is still so new. As long as we're here to continue this journey, there will be plenty of opportunity that will come up that will make their money back 10 times or even 100 times over. And I will be personally responsible for bringing those opportunities forward to the community. Of course, I understand that is not the concern of some of the people here, because they just care about the 1X. But this is part of the solution. Corporate still needs to be held accountable for the 1X, but I will be responsible for bringing opportunities forward, and the opportunities will have a freemium model, which means that no fresh capital is required to participate in the opportunities if these guys choose not to. Of course, they won't be on the same level of treatment as those who put a little bit of cash into these opportunities, but through just being able to tap into the marketing budgets of large corporations, we are moving moving things forward by at least helping people recover some of their original investment by being exposed to the opportunities first. So you know, I feel for these people, because you know, I'm sure they need to make certain sacrifices in order to make ends meet, and you know, I could have came into the picture to give people false hope without knowing what I'm doing, but now that not well educated, but educated enough on what to do next, I feel that I can give real hope. And so I'm asking for patience, not only from these people who are suffering, but patience from leadership to you know, understanding these kind of people, you know, and understanding, of course, their difficulties. And you know, as we are moving things slowly and turning this ship slowly, I believe that there will be a great outcome for everybody at the other end. It just takes a little bit of time, but I know what I'm doing now, so there will be an outcome, and that outcome, I believe, everybody will be happy with. We just need a little bit more patience.
Thank you for that. Thank you. And also thanks for just, you know, saying and acknowledging that person who is who's hurting or who overextended themselves to do this. I have a question from Dee Kell. It says, and this goes to Hyperverse. I don't know how much you can help, because a lot of the questions is Hyperverse, and I know you kind of answered in a nutshell that you don't have visibility. So, and a lot of their questions is Hyperverse, but hopefully will just give us an answer here. It says, hello, Sam. Many of us came into Hyperverse because in the course of our due diligence, we were sure that if things were to go south with the company would liquidate their assets and it would at least make their members whole. Why isn't that being done at least? And why can't you do your part to see that this happens for the community? So you've answered the second half of that, your part that you're doing. I guess they want to know the first part. When a lot of us joined, there was the due diligence where the policy and procedures, and in there it mentioned that if something were to happen, that the company would liquidate assets to make sure people are made whole. So they're asking about that. I don't even know if you're aware of it, but that's the question.
Yes, I've been made aware of it. especially when community members approached me randomly wanting me to liquidate assets that we created since 2016, because Hyper as a brand was established in 2016, and we've done well. The affiliate marketing side was kicked off in 2019, and is in its own sandbox. It leveraged the Hyper brand, but does not have legal control over what we've been what was created prior to that, and rightly so, because what was created prior to that is shared between different shareholdings and different interest groups. So the clause in there, I believe to be misleading, but I don't think it was done intentionally, because there was money coming in from the community, and there was money being deployed into opportunities. So I believe that there is a significant amount of capital that is held by corporate, and they're just waiting to lessen the cost of settling with the community by waiting for the next market bull run. And the only reason they're willing to do that is because the community doesn't have the leverage it needs in order to force corporate's hands. So I want to do everything in a nice way. I want to mediate the situation so that there is an outcome faster. I can't make any promises, but what I can guarantee everyone here is I will do my absolute best to make everything right as soon as possible.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. And I have about 2 more questions, and again, I'm looking at a lot of these questions. They're all kind of the same what about Hyperverse. So this gentleman, Mike, says, with all due respect, Sam, the community is grateful that you came open at the same time, and so cautious and suspicious about the new project StableDAO. Unless they get their money back, our membership with StableDAO. Hold on, I thought I kind of was able to just summarize this for you. But this person, and why I wanted to read this individual is basically saying, and my question to you, Sam, is what do you say to a person who believes that StableDAO is a project just to buy time, playing with investors' minds, and possibly a way to shift investors' minds from Hyperverse community and shifting them from taking legal action? So what do you say to that person who just believes that all of this and what you're doing is just a stall tactic to play with people's minds to get it off of Hyperverse and taking legal actions? What do you say to that individual?
Well, I'll say to that individual, if there was any legal action to be taken, it would have been taken by now. 9 months have passed. Nothing concrete has happened by the community for the community. So the community needs to realize that the leverage is not there. So you know what? I welcome any form of legal action and proceedings, but it's just not happening. And the reason it's not happening is because we don't even know what 1x is. So my first step is to enroll the existing structure as best as we can into StableDAO so that I can get everybody to answer me how much they are owed based on the 1x. Now, of course, there will be leadership that have done well out of of the hyper opportunity, and have obviously a lot of pending rewards. That's not my concern, because because corporate didn't make that promise. Corporate made a very clear promise on 1x. So now, what is 1x? If I'm able to get that information into my own database, then we are now able to be in business to have an informed conversation with corporate and say, this is what 1x is, this is how much money Sam through his funds have generated and returned, this is how much you collected from community. There's got to be something, right? There's got to be a mediated result out of that. It can't be nothing. But my concern and fear is that, the community, as well-intentioned as it is right now, is just waiting, and will continue to wait with no outcome unless someone takes charge and at least go through the process of gathering data. I'm not able to get the transparency I need directly with corporate, so I'm coming to the community. And if the community says that this is a distraction and a delay tactic, well, that is incorrect, because what is effectively going to happen is I'm gathering information. The more information I have, the more accountable corporate has to become.
Thanks for sharing that. Crypto Lou, question is, what is Sam's past/current relationship with Blockchain Global?
That's a good question. So I'm the CEO of Blockchain Global. The company was founded in 2014. We did Bitcoin mining at the outset, and of course have made a lot of money for the various participants in our Bitcoin mining operation. All that has been dividended out, and what was left is a company with circa $20 million of assets and no real operating business moving forward, because it was predominantly focused on Bitcoin mining. So considering that the company also owes me money and also owes a lot of other stakeholders that have built the success of a mining operation in the early days money as well, the only fair thing to do with a company in that scenario is to put it into bankruptcy and have the administrator divvy up the assets of the company to repay the creditors. Because you know what, I could have done the unfair thing and said all the money needs to come to me first. I'm the CEO, I'm the founder. I'm going to look after myself first, and whatever's left then gets shared amongst the remaining shareholders, etc. But that would have been the wrong thing to do. Of course, there are people who twist the story to, my detriment, but ultimately, it's just a very simple case of Bitcoin mining was no longer a business that I had any focus on, because the glory days and the most profitable time frame to do mining is long past, and it made no sense to hold on to $20 million and spend it all on things that didn't really make any sense, and leave all the creditors and shareholders nothing. That's where the company's at. It's with the administrators, and they're just going through the balance sheet in order to work out who's getting what.
Hey, thank you. I'm sure you've answered that individual's question. Thank you for that. Someone here says, it's going back and forth. So this individual is asking about when registering for Stable Down, who do you show as your sponsor if your Hyperverse sponsor is no longer participating? They want to know what direction to go in. What we've been telling them is find out your sponsored. That's what we've been sharing. But what would you say to that person? Sorry.
Yeah, the migration of a lineage does not have to be perfect, and you know, it actually doesn't really make too much of a difference to me, because all I care about is getting the information on 1X, right? So that I can have an informed conversation. But given that this community was built by leadership, it just doesn't make sense for me to get this message of signing up, giving me the information on 1X, if it doesn't come from leadership, right? And I've been respectful on all my Zooms, understanding that I'm coming to the community through leadership. And it's not, by the way, me just hitting up Brenda and say, hey, for all time's sake, just put me in front of the community and let's shout it out. No. There has been a number of conversations with leaders prior to one of these 1,000 people full house Zooms being set up. And that is the right way to go about it, because I need to make sure that the leaders understand my intentions and the objectives, so that they could understand that this is something that they can be on board with. So it's not, you know, so it's not, I understand, you know, Hyper Tech, I'm the chairman, and this community was built off the narrative and the intention of that I originally had. But me being here is because Brenda felt I had important information to share, and hopefully can assist the community in moving towards a direction of healing and recovery. So now that I've had the opportunity to share that information, it is up to everybody to make up their own mind, and of course reach out to their leaders, and of course you know, follow you know, what has made Hyper successful, which is the structure that was created to really you know, help everybody who has worked so hard build, at least guide everybody towards recovery.
Thank you so much for that. I was taking notes here. This question, we communicating with a lot of the leaders in the community. I remember being on some calls with them, and they mentioned, since you are on the board and you speak to corporate, you said you have board meetings with them at least once a month. Some of us leaders, we were saying, because we want to see people be made whole, we were saying, if Hyper Nation is going to give 0.7% a day over in Hyper Nation, some leaders were saying, hey, won't they just give, say, 0.5% in Hyper Nation and give 0.2% to the people in Hyperverse, to start allowing those people to start getting something small to show that show good faith. So I'm sharing this with you, Mr. Sam Lee, to say, hey, when you do talk to corporate, that's like a suggestion that a lot of the community members are willing to take a lesser percentage a day in Hyper Nation to say have some over in Hyperverse, especially to give these people who are losing homes, lives are being threatened, and all these things. So that was just a suggestion that someone, well, a couple of the leaders mentioned. So I wanted to share that. And I don't know, is that possible? Does that seem feasible? What do you think about that?
Again, I don't have the visibility as well as the influence in order to make these decisions, because again, my job was to turn money into more money through Hyperfund, the fund management side, not the affiliate marketing model side. So the affiliate marketing ecosystem is run through the membership management company, which manages the ins and outs of the funds, and that is unfortunately something which I'm not even able to advise corporate on, because I don't have the visibility of the data.
Thank you. Well, that helps, because people want to know how far and what can you do and what you're able to do and not do. Some other people are asking, where is the link for Stable DAO? And you did mention something about a PDF going around. So will it still be that link of Stable DAO that will be that leaders should just send to everyone, or this PDF that you're doing is going to be something different? Bless you.
So the link should really come from your sponsor or your sponsor's sponsor, whoever's left, right? Of course, the way I see it is, ultimately it just doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but it's always good to respect a structure, especially if the structure is how we disseminate information towards a recovery. So there is a reason why the first week of this year I reached out to the nodes and V5s, to start the conversation, and that was done in a private setting, because people needed to understand where I stand first, before they're able to provide me with any useful information on how to move things forward. I've been able to, of course, gain significant value out of those conversations, and learn a lot as well. And I'm grateful for all the time that leadership has spent in at least allowing me to understand the steps and process required to get the community understanding that I do have the community's best intentions at heart. So I just hope that the link can be disseminated from leadership downwards, and that will take time. So for people who are eager to punch in their information, well, even if you sign up to the platform today off of some random link or affiliate code online, it's the questionnaire is not available yet, and we estimate it'll be 7 to 10 days before we finalize the questions as part of that questionnaire to ask everyone this question. So there's no rush. to get yourself signed up, because there's a way to currently give me that information, because I don't want to ask for information twice. I want to just ask for it once. So measure twice, cut once. That's what I'm doing here. Let's have this link disseminate down from leadership, and in 10 days time, the questionnaire will be available to everyone. And from that point onwards, I will have at least the beginning of an understanding to the problem, so that I'm able to at least have an informed conversation with corporate.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I see one of your dear friends here. I'm going to add him to the spotlight, because we took a lot of the questions already, so we didn't want this call to be a 5-hour call. We're going on 2 hours now, but I'll allow Gobi to go ahead.
Hey, Brenda, I'm so excited to see you.
Hi, Gobi, how are you doing?
Hey, Sheila, hi. Brenda, thanks for bringing me in. I just want to say thank you. Sam, thank you so much for being here. I've spent almost 4 months with Sam. Unbelievable experience. If anybody here thinking what's going on, I know Sam is here to give some kind of good visibility, guys, about the future. I spent enough time. I've been in the same situation like you about 4 months ago. The conversation wasn't really wasn't really good when we met first, Sam. Now everything cleared, so I'm so happy you brought him here. Let me cover a couple of things, and I want to do it. For me, if anybody looking for the 1X in here, the only option is Sam, because no one got the access to the corporate apart from Sam. He's here to fight for the community. This New Year resolution he told me day number 1. It was kind of emotional. He said, I want to give something back to the community and I'm going to work for it. Sam, you remember that? You told me that. So thank you for that, Sam. This is the first time ever in Sam's history he came as Sam Lee. I'm here for you. He never did it before. So community, friends, you should trust him in this point. This is what I'm believing in him. First time ever in history, he came out talking to the community and saying, I'm here, trust me, I will not let you down. I mean, you have to trust this man. I know people are going to hate it because there are things going on everywhere. People are doing different businesses. If they're giving solutions, why not? Let them do it. But Sam is definitely here to do something for the community. I know that. Sam, that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gobi. Thank you. Awesome. Yes, so I'm going to close out with this one question, and you've answered and you've shared a lot, you've said a lot, but a lot of the questions that I saw that came in, these are even questions I can help answer, because you've actually answered it in sharing everything you've shared. So it's something I can break down to the community. However, that one question is, it's a short question, but people just really want to hear it. They're just asking the question, because some people believe it, is Hyperverse, even with all that you're doing, it's a Sam Lee, is Hyperverse a scam? What do you say to that?
Well, no, because if it is a scam, the website will be offline, and I wouldn't be even wasting my time trying to get the information from the community in order to hold corporate accountable. Because I believe that, just like, the entire Hyper ecosystem, and also the other ecosystems that we've been able to be lucky enough to participate in, there's always the good and the bad. And inside the corporate, there is also good and bad as well. And now we just need to beat the good out of them by ensuring that they understand that the community cannot wait any longer and needs to be looked after. So until people in corporate, shuts down the website and puts out a message, right? I will keep believing that it is not a scam and that they are just buying time to lessen the cost of making people whole.
Thank you. And you said something I was just going to ask, and you said it. I was going to say, since you're the only one who know these people in corporate, since they wear masks, we don't know who they are. Since you're the only one who know them, if we woke up one morning and the website was gone, it's not there tomorrow, you do know where to find them, right? To go talk to them, right? That's what we want. We want to feel good sleeping at night, that if we wake up and the website's gone, you know where to get these people and say, hey, what just happened?
I don't even have to go get these people. Because ultimately there is enough evidence all over the internet to identify these people. I don't have to go get these people. This is a very big project, even as it stands in hibernation right now. So I don't feel that there are bad intentions at play. I believe corporate has the ability to make everyone whole. They just need to do it faster. So in terms of I'm not here to promote hibernation, but my job is also to just give people hope, to allow them to understand that the opportunity in this industry is massive. And now that I'm in front of the community, after having made money without a community for over a decade, I don't think I can ever be in a position to go away, because what relationships I've been able to build with leadership, as well as the members that they lead, it's only going to get stronger. And what gave Bitcoin value? Bitcoin had value because of consensus. Now the consensus mechanism is a bit outdated. Proof of work is no longer as relevant as it is before. So the industry has evolved. But one thing is for certain, when the market picks back up again, I feel that there will be very little projects raising money through the traditional private sale, ICO, or IDO pipeline. That model is outdated. The model moving forward has to have an affiliate marketing structure that makes sense to the community and benefit those who believe in the project the most, not those who come in first and are immediately out first as soon as there is liquidity on an exchange. So that is a trend that I'm hand on heart predicting. So if that is a trend that is inevitable, then all these projects will be using this community as the launch pad. And what that means is we'll grow this community from 1 million, 2 million into 100 to 200 million. And what that means, because the affiliate marketing structure is there, is that any subscription and any participation of people who are in our database enrolled as, you know, the 100th million member is benefiting this community right here, because our community, even though is considered a giant in the crypto industry, is still so small because the industry is still so new. So that's how we passively make everyone whole. You know, it'll take time. It'll take a little bit of work on behalf of leadership, but I'm here. I'm here to keep doing these Zooms and to keep growing this community and structuring something that I believe has more longevity than the old, outdated models of participation and consensus.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I personally appreciate you because when everything launched and people were waiting on this 1X, it was, what's the word? It was really scary at one point, knowing that we had, as leaders, promoters, we had no one to turn to. We were like, oh, where do we turn to? They launched different things, Hypercosmos, it didn't work out. People were just, and they were looking at the leaders, looking at the promoters, and we're sitting here, and that's why I took a step back, because I have to take care of my health. I can't, I don't own the company. I know nothing. I don't have access to corporate. So therefore, when you stepped in the forefront, I had a sense of relief and I felt hope, because some of us who've been in the crypto space before, we've seen platforms just disappear. You wake up one morning, it's gone. You know, then another one comes out, you join it, it disappears. So the fact that you're here, you're in the forefront, you are giving the community your word, you're telling them, so I'm going to sum what you set up, for the community to be patient. You're not going anywhere. You plan on making people whole, but not just whole, even more. You also had mentioned once before, like, I've created a lot in this space. I've created millions in this space, and I can do it again. And you said it on the call several times. He's like, I've done it without people. Imagine what I can do with a database of people. And so some of us are listening, and then some of us are just angry, don't want to hear anything. And so we can't make people do anything. All we can do as individuals is, for me, I always tell people, time will tell. So for those who believe or don't believe, time will tell, right? That's how you'll know the true outcome of what's going to happen. So I do want to thank you so much for being up so late to just be here to support the community. The fact that you keep coming on these calls and letting us know that you're around. You didn't just run off, and you didn't make a speech and then disappear, but you're here. When we reach out to you, you respond. We send the message, you're there. So that gives us hope. And we're just truly excited about people being able to see that this platform wasn't a scam, because we all joined Hyper. We all joined Hyper so happy. We were so happy. You didn't get to see the community in the beginning. When I tell you, it was a place of answered prayer. It was a place of, we're like, wow, this is what we've been looking for. And then to be here in this place, it's like, whew. So we do have to decide, are we going to bash you coming to the forefront? Are we going to bash you, say negative things? Or are we going to have hope and believe that having patience, time would tell? But I'll say this, it's something you told me, Mrs. Samley, when we met in Dubai. It's something you said to me. It's actually two things. And it educated me, because I haven't been in a space like you have. You've been in here a whole decade, right? I haven't. So something you shared with me that opened my eyes, you said 90% of the people that buy cryptocurrency, they take a loss because they don't know to hold on to it and be patient. And when you said that, I thought about myself. I fell in that 90%. The moment we see the crypto dropping, we sell. But if you understand crypto and know that it's a wave and it goes up and down, those are the people that hold on. That's what the people say, hold on for dear life. So when you said that, that was a moment where you educated me. I was like, oh, I said, well, I don't want to be that 90%. I'm going to hold on to it. So my point is, you know the space, you understand the space. So to have you come on and share this information, it's powerful because it's coming from a person with experience. And the last thing you shared that I took away in our meeting was that we went around the table and asked everyone, what are you passionate about? And you mentioned you were passionate about making people's dreams come true. So at that point, I never even thought I'm sitting at the table with someone who would, you know, disappear tomorrow. And so I wanted to just piggyback off of what Gobi shared about your heart for the people. So that's it. You know, what you've said is to have patience. You're working on the plan. Corporate is taking its time. So we have two things going. We have corporate taking its time, and you believe that they're going to make good on their promise. And then we have you saying, I'm not going to sit here and wait anymore for corporate. I'm going to take actions and matters into my own hand, and I'm not asking for one dime out of anyone. Just get in position so you can have a database to run with. So it is now up to the community, up to ourselves to decide what we want to do. What I love about this space, it is a voluntary space. No one has to do anything that they don't want to do. No one forces you to, no one makes you do it. It's you do it because you feel that you believe in it. And if you don't believe in it, we respect that as well. So I do want to thank you so much for being on. Everyone that asked their questions, I'll send the recording through the emails that everyone asked their question. And once Mr. Sam Lee sends the PDF, we'll definitely get that to the community, and the link for Stable DAO for the individuals that are asking for that link. We can get that out, but in due time. Right now, all we're going to do is what we can do, and what is that? It is just to be patient, because there's nothing else we can do. I mean, if anyone else has a solution, give it to us. But we're always thinking of ideas, like you said. If corporate could just hear our cry, which is take a little off of hibernation, give it to the Hyperverse so people can be made whole. If that can't happen, all we can do is be patient. So with that, thank you so much. I want to allow everyone to be able to unmute themselves just to say goodbye to you, Mr. Sam Lee, and hopefully it's all positive goodbyes. So Sheila, are you able to unmute so they can all say goodbyes? I hope I don't hear nothing.
Yep.
Bye.
And blessings.
Do we get the recording?
Thank you for coming.
Send the recording out.
Blessings, blessings.